We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live.
Hey, stop that cat, man down. Errol Spence claps back. There's currently a story that he was nearly knocked out, almost knocked out by none other than Floyd Money Mayweather. Easy work, I ain't got hard work, dedication, hard work. That's what I want to talk about in this video. Okay, stay tuned. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. The streets are talking now. There's an interview from Nate Jones that came out, and if you guys don't know, he's the bigger dude, Olympian, that did a lot of the body shield work with Floyd in the Mayweather gym. He's a former fighter himself, etc. He did an interview, and basically he stated that during the sparring with Floyd Money Mayweather, easy work, and Errol Spence man down strap season, he said that basically from his recollection or his point of view, vantage point, that Errol Spence was almost knocked out with the uppercut by Floyd in this tense and vicious sparring. Errol Spence took to his social media and he says, Leonard Ellerby, J. Leon Love, Luis Cuba Arias, Boza Edwards, and Setuel Powell, countless other boxers and coaches was in the gym. I tried not to speak on sparring, but great work. Hell of an experience. I never buckled, he capped. So after this came out, you know, a lot of people running with it. It's the internet. You know how the internet does. And, you know, the internet is the internet and people are running with the story. My thing is, I didn't make a video about it because I'm working on a lot of stuff. We're going to have a great 2023 on the channel. I can't reveal too much, but keep it locked. You don't want to miss this. Aside from that, I'm working on a lot of stuff. And you know, I've never really heard this. Another reason for me is because I've been in the game for years. It made me an animal. There's rules to this. The thing is this. For one, I come from the old school and I come from the creed of like sparring, like whether it happened or didn't happen. Now, I'm not saying it did happen or didn't happen, but what I'm saying is sparring, like people over dramatize and romanticize sparring. Who gives a like, that's like, imagine a person who works a 9-to-5 job at a construction site. You know, he might have an off day. You know, it is what it is. Imagine you work at a retail store or anything and you have an off day. You came to work late and you spilled your coffee on your lap or, you know, whatever happens throughout a day. Everybody has an off day. So me being around this beautiful sport called boxing so often and frequent, knowing fighters, knowing trainers, being in boxing gyms, I don't really get souped up over. I'm from the Bay Area where real goes down. You know what I mean? You got to keep your head on the swivel. Yiddy, yara. So at the end of the day, I don't really get spooked or basically over dramatize things that don't need to, like we call it putting 2 on 10. Like, you know what I mean? I don't put too much on it. Sparring is sparring. And, you know, it used to be a code in sparring where what happens in gym stays in gym. There's a lot of sparring that leaks now. I seen one of Devin Haney and Hector Luis Garcia, who's fighting Gervonta Davis this weekend. And, you know, it is what it is. We're in a different generation. But Errol Spence, the other reason why I didn't really care too much about this is because, again, I can only give my perspective. I will be the first to tell you the honest truth and keep it a buck and keep it 100 like I always do. I keep it a buck like the Dollar Tree. You dig? So for me, I wasn't there. And I tell you all the time on my channel, if I don't know, then I don't pretend to. You know, I don't have to clickbait or do a bunch of extra stuff and, you know, say I know and I don't know. I wasn't there. So I don't know what happened, to be honest. However, I will say this, being in the game and having the longevity and the run that your boy Ego has had in the game, I do know of several people that I have talked to off the record and some on the record. The ones that are on the record, the videos are up on my channel, obviously, but we've had deeper conversations, and that's just that. So multiple people who were there for several Floyd Mayweather sparrings, multiple people who were there specifically for this Errol Spence and Mayweather day when they sparred. And then I think Floyd got a black eye from it. And I'm not sloppy. And again, this is part of my longevity in the game, because the reason why I know so much in the sport is because people trust me. People trust me because I don't just blabber mouth. Truth be told, I know fighters that have been knocked out in sparring or out on their feet in sparring and witnessed it, but I just don't say it. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's just not me. I got a million ways I can make some money, you know what I'm saying? And I don't have to burn bridges to do it. So I'm not going to go too much into detail. You know, I'll give you some of the cliff notes. The bottom line is this: from multiple sources who were there when Errol Spence and Floyd Mayweather fought, they all had, and here's the thing, just to give you guys a little bit of detail into my brain and how my brain works. The reason why I trust the sources is because, one, they were there. Two, the sources are people who, they haven't let me down. Like, they've given me other, like, completely unrelated to Errol and Floyd, completely unrelated information that was tried and true and tested. And here's the thing: some of the sources were at different times, and the sources told me what happened with Errol and what happened with Floyd Mayweather. They don't know that I talked to someone else about this already, because these are completely different years and different, you know, situations and settings, and the stories matched up. So if you have multiple different people that you're talking to, and person A doesn't know that you talked to person B, and person B doesn't know that you talked to person A or C, then you see how this works. The stories that I heard were matching up, and multiple people and the multiple sources that I talked to that were there for Errol Spence in the Doghouse Rule Mayweather gym, none of them told me anything about Errol Spence almost being knocked out. In fact, it was, I'm not going to say it's more the contrary, but it was to a point where I think Floyd Mayweather had recently got out of jail at that time, because, you know, he did that little bid after the Cotto fight, and basically Floyd I don't think he really put respect on it or knew who Errol Spence was like that, so he didn't expect as good work, and I heard it was tough work, you know what I mean? So this whole miraculous uppercut knockout, none of my sources have told me that. It's not to say it didn't happen, because again, I'm just boxing ego. I'm ego. I wasn't there for it, so I don't know what happened, but I will confirm that through multiple sources that were there, no one mentioned that aspect. Now, here's the other thing that makes me believe a lot of the information that I was provided, because I remember Errol Spence, he went on a podcast like The Pivot or something, and Errol Spence started recalling from his perspective. So he's the person that sparred Floyd, and there's details that were given to me, some of which are on my channel, hint, hint. And there's details that were given to me from people that were there. And when Errol Spence recalled, they said the same thing. So by the time he did the podcast, I had heard about that years ago. Like, everybody was getting hype and boom, 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 and banging on the apron and banging on the canvas, boom, boom, boom. And then when he talked about it in the actual podcast he was on, then I'm like, yeah, that confirms and corroborates the story that I was hearing, right? So I heard it was just great sparring, you know, sparring that pushed both fighters, things like that. I didn't really hear about one person, you know, all the way dominated. I think Floyd got a black eye from it. I'm sure Floyd's a master, you know what I'm saying? So I'm sure Floyd was landing his shots and doing his thing. He was, if I'm not mistaken, fresh out of jail or not too far removed from being in prison. So, you know, who knows? But, you know, at the end of the day, sparring. Floyd's undefeated. Errol Spence is undefeated. Great fighters, kind of two different generations. And You know, unless someone released the tape or whatever, it's all speculation. But I can confirm that me personally, Boxingego, I had never heard anybody from multiple sources that when they were retelling, nobody mentioned this thing that Nate Jones said. Again, take that for what it's worth. Take it with a grain of salt. I don't really care what you do it. I'm just telling you the information that I was told. And the information, like the reason I keep focusing in on that is because if I've had conversations on and off the record with multiple people who were there, that seems like something that somebody would have told me, because they were telling me all kinds of other stuff that I'm not going to divulge in this video. But if I'm hearing all this other stuff, it seemed like that would have been a point of contention, or a point where somebody out of multiple sources would have told me, like, oh, FYI, Errol Spence almost got bodied with an uppercut. That seems pretty significant, that if someone's spilling the beans and giving you the drama and the chisme, then it seemed like that would have come up. But again, you know, I'm just going off information that I've received personally. And the other thing about the last thing I want to say about the being hurt and stuff is, maybe it's not even necessarily that anybody's quote unquote capping or lying, but at the end of the day, I watch ESPN sometimes when there's a fight and Tim Bradley be screaming, oh, he's hurt, and it'd be round 2, and then the person who's hurt is hurt and never goes down. The person who they said was hurt is hurt, you know, Tim Bradley screaming and stuff, survives for 10 more rounds and then wins the fight. You know, I see that all the time. And it's not just the ESPN commentary crew. There's other commentary crews where they scream up, and DAZN be doing it. They be screaming so-and-so's hurt so bad. I think it was in the Chocolatito Estrada fight. I think they were like, Estrada's hurt. And then he goes 12 with Chocolatito and wins the fight. So this could also be a matter of, you know, subjectivity, where it's subjective. And from the vantage point wherever Nate Jones was at, maybe he thought from his perspective that he was hurt, or Errol Spence's leg looked funny. You know what I'm saying? I do see that, because if you look at the Errol Spence's last fight with Ugas, that's another telltale example of what I'm saying. Errol Spence, there were a lot of people, even the Showtime commentary, they're like, he's hurt in round 6 with the whole mouthpiece fiasco. And Errol Spence started bodying Ugas and melting his eye right after that moment, you know? So some people, you ask some people, they'll say, oh, Errol Spence was badly hurt and stumbled. And then some people were saying he wasn't hurt. So, you know, it is what it is. Some people have great recuperative powers. And also, it's just like power. There's different severities of power. Some guys touch you with any shot and you die, like Wilder. And then some guys, you know, it's more of accumulation. In the same vein as power is being hurt. You know, there's different severities of being hurt. Like, you can get a paper cut and it hurts, but then you can also get shot in the leg. That's probably a different pain. You know what I mean? So people get hurt in sparring, people get hurt in boxing. It's really about, can you dish it and can you take it? And fortunately for Floyd, and fortunately for Errol Spence, you know, overall, I heard good, favorable things about both of them in that sparring session. Errol Spence, he says it was a great experience and great work. You know, it is what it is. I guess it's just going to be an urban legend. Like I said, until someone leaks a tape or something like that, it'll always be speculation. But being hurt could be subjective, just like some people score a fight and say Canelo won. And I'm like, what the hell was y'all watching? How did Canelo beat this guy? How was it a draw? You know, maybe somebody seen it and thought Errol Spence was hurt. But from my perspective and the information I've been fed, nobody told me that Errol was almost knocked out, and he's saying the same thing. And he also tagged people. That's kind of shows you a little something too, is like, if that was really true, you're tagging witnesses that were there. You know, it seems kind of weird, but that's my take. We unpack. And I'm introducing Super Thanks right here on the official Boxingego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new, interactive, and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.